What's going on, everybody? This is DM Brad, and welcome back to TSAN After Dark. Here we like to talk about creepypastas, conspiracy theories, and otherwise creepy subject matter. And although these creepypastas, stories, and theories are all unnerving and scary on their own, sometimes they're just that, theories. They lack definitive proof. Now that does not discredit the scare factor in these stories and theories, but still, I find things a lot more unnerving when they actually happened. Now imagine you're sitting down after a long, hard day and you're watching your favorite TV show, movie, or news program. And all of a sudden, what you're used to seeing, what you expect to see, is interrupted by something unexpected and unexplained. And that's what I'll be discussing today. I'll be giving a few examples of times that TV shows were hijacked and interrupted during their normal broadcast. Now this sort of hijacking would take elaborate planning and expensive equipment just to pull off, and it also carries a very heavy punishment if those who are behind it are caught. But here's just a few examples, so sit back and enjoy.
Everything is not alright.
Now you can't do a video about broadcast hijackings or interruptions without mentioning the Max Headroom incident. Now if you're like me and you've been down the deep rabbit hole that is YouTube or Reddit or just the internet in general, you've probably heard of this one. On November 22nd, 1987, there were two broadcast interruptions. The first, on a local news channel, a newscaster was covering a football game, and all of a sudden the screen goes black. Then a man wearing a Max Headroom Mask appears on screen with distorted audio, just the sound of static as he's bouncing around and dancing around in the style of the Max Headroom series back in the day. And the hijacking is quickly handled, and the man disappears, leaving the newscasters confused, saying, "If you're wondering what happened, so am I." No one knew what happened. Then about 2 hours later, during an episode of Doctor Who, the screen is covered in static, and the man in the Max Headroom Mask appears again. This time the audio is a little more clear. You can hear him speak, and he's rambling random nonsense, making reference to the Catch the Wave marketing campaign of Coca-Cola while holding up a Pepsi can. You can hear him singing and humming a theme song from an old TV show, and he continues to sing and moan and laugh and make just unsettling noises. It's a little hard to picture, so I'm just going to show you right now.
Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I.
You talk often with the old ones of your tribe. That is the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Why, some dry clothing.
Because he's a freaking nerd. I think I'm gonna check worse than freaking buffoon. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. That's the way. Your love is fading. I still see the X. Oh, my files. Oh, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds. My brother is wearing the other one.
Yeah, it's pretty unnerving. And the weirdest thing is no one knows to this day what the motive was behind it. And the man in the Max Headroom Mask and his accomplices still have not been caught. Next, we're going to talk about Vrillon. Now we're going to jump back in time for this one. Again, November 26th, 1977. During a Southern television broadcast, the audio was hijacked, and a disembodied voice covered up by static and distortion came over the top of the news broadcast. The voice claimed he was Vrillon, a representative of an intergalactic civilization. He warned mankind to dispose of all their weapons and that they had a short time to learn to live together in peace, or they'd basically be extinguished from the universe. Now, thousands of people saw this, and though there's no actual audio or video of this occurrence, there's a mock-up that can be found online. Here, just take a look.
This is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the stars. We speak to you now to send the same as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are a part may proceed to the higher stages of its evolution, if you show yourselves worthy to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. This is our message.
I really appreciate that we kept it. I insist how the little full of only really choice ingredients. I can.
It's pretty creepy, right? That sort of ties into some of the subjects we've discussed before about the aliens living among us, or, you know, are we really alone in the universe? While this may have been an elaborate hoax and prank, it's still a little bit unnerving, and whoever was behind it was never caught. This still remains unsolved. The next one we're going to be talking about, the zombie apocalypse in Montana. This hijacking took place in February of 2013, where a local television station was interrupted during the Steve Wilkos show by an emergency alert broadcast. Now, the emergency alert system typically used to warn citizens of natural disasters or even nuclear threat, but in this case, a voice came over the emergency alert broadcast system, very convincingly stated that the dead were rising from their graves and attacking the living. Here, just take a listen.
Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous.
Now see, that'd be scary on its own. If you're just watching a TV show in the middle of the day and emergency alert broadcast system comes over and says that there's a zombie outbreak, it's pretty terrifying. With all the different pop culture television shows, movies, video games that feature zombies, and even the CDC all but confirming that a zombie apocalypse is a possibility, that'd be enough to cause anyone to panic. Now, the station quickly issued an apology stating that the dead were not rising from their graves, but still, it's crazy. Scary. Next, I'm going to be talking about the coast-to-coast Area 51 call. Now, this one's not a broadcast interruption so much as just a strange, unexpected turn of events during a normal broadcast. Coast to Coast AM is a popular radio talk show. Back in 1997, the host at the time, Art Bell, received a phone call from a man claiming to have worked at Area 51. He was speaking in a really panicked and paranoid tone, explaining that the things that we think of as aliens are extra-dimensional beings that were contacted by the government. And he went on about these beings and government plots. Kept going on and on and on, almost to the disbelief of the people listening and Art himself, who seemed to think it might have been just a prank. And the strangest part of this is the more the man talked, the more frenzied and panicked he got. And as he was going, the transmission of the radio show was lost. It just cut out. Shortly after, it came back on air on a backup system, which Art Bell said in the years he's worked there, he's never seen anything like that happen before. So, was this guy legit? Were they trying to cover up some plot? It's hard telling.
Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay. Okay. What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. There's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now, Art.
But they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want the major population centers wiped out so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I started getting...
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
It's the government, or...
I don't know.
It has to be something, though.
Well, did you hear... Now, you tell me, because you were listening.
That was awful strange.
There was a really weird guy on the air when it went off?
Yeah. Real weirded out.
Like, going... Sort of sounding paranoid, schizophrenic. Yeah. And how far into the conversation was it when it went off?
Just a couple, about 15, 20 seconds, I'd say.
Oh, you guys you really missed a call then, and I've got a feeling somebody didn't want you to hear it. The transmitter went belly up suddenly for some unknown reason. I've never seen it do this in all the years that we've been on the air. I have never seen the transmitter in this way just simply fail, massively fail, like a massive heart attack or some kind. And so we have gone to a backup system to get the signal to you right now, and I presume it is getting to you right now.
Later, apparently the same man that called in before called again, basically claiming that what he was saying wasn't real, it was just all an elaborate hoax. Now, was this supposed to be him being silenced? It's hard telling, but well, this one's probably one of the craziest interruptions. Because again, fitting into our previous topic of are we alone in the universe, and are those who represent and lead us actually who they say they are? Now, not to get political, but it's creepy, it's unnerving. There you have it, guys. Those were a few examples of broadcast interruptions that pretty much have not been solved to this day. No one knows the motives behind it. No one knows the truth, and that's why it's unsettling, because we fear the things that we don't understand. And broadcast interruptions, when they still remain unsolved so many years later, that's scary. But that is all I have for this episode of After Dark. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure, as always, to stay tuned for more. As always, be sure to check out our other ongoing series, Retro Vault and Watch List. Until we see you again, After Dark.